All right. Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? Welcome back to our spiritual chemistry podcast. Man, we have an awesome guest today. This brother is world renowned. He's doing so much for the community and just the whole world. He's bringing the world together, all from Africa to everywhere. It's all the way through all the way all through the whole world, man. So we are so blessed to have him on the pod with us today. And we got brother 19 Keys with us.
Thank you. It's a
We
pleasure
got
to be
brother
here on
19
the
Keys.
Spiritual Chemistry Podcast.
Yes, man. So, man, so tell us, man, how you got started with everything. I mean, what made you? I mean, I know I want to hear a little bit from you how you got started. We seen a lot of videos on you and talking about how you got started, but just like what was the core and like around what age that
Mm.
you really said I got to do something like that age? When did you wake up in the morning with an aha moment where like I got to do this thing like this, or it just gradually progressed?
I would say that's a really good question always because it always forces me to just think over things. I typically don't have like a robotic answer for that. I like to really think in a moment,
Yeah.
right? Each time I hear that question. And it always brings me back to a chain of events versus one moment, right? There's a catalyst moment for sure that kind of like takes you to this point of making a decision, right? I truly believe that destiny is all about making a decision and sticking with it because we can decide to go in many different dimensions, and those are all just based on our decisions that we make in life. And so I was stirred to one dimension as a child from my parents, right? And so was all my brothers and friends and those who grew up in this community, this Black Muslim environment, right? Ever since I was a child, we would be given speeches on, the state of the culture, right? The social economic issues, right? Everything to cosmology, right? And so these were things I had to remember as a child. Of course, I ain't gonna say I embraced it. I was a child. I had no force into it. And so it was just my indoctrination when I was younger. Then there was a time where I started questioning everything, right? Is this what I want to believe? Is this what I want to follow? Is this the real source of truth? Right. And in that rebellious phase of questioning brought me closer to center. Right. And so then it kind of goes on a journey of going from Oakland to St. Louis, right? Going back and forth and getting in trouble, right? Being in the streets, catching cases, right? Getting caught up in all sort of different things. And I remember when I had my last case, my co-defendant was my older brother, a co-defendant was my father, right? And it was for an assault case, right? Somebody said that I was involved in something. And I remember the challenge that it was and how much I developed throughout that process because I used to read books that were like fiction books, right? And when I got locked up, I was only in there for a few weeks, but I was reading this book that was essentially this fiction about bank robbers. And that got me through some of my time. And I remember after I finished that book, I was no closer to my freedom than I was beforehand.
Mm.
And I remember my older brother giving me a list of books to read. And this list of books to read were ones that could empower me to think critical and strategic, right, as we're fighting this case. And that's when I started really thinking about how to apply knowledge, right? And so I needed to because when you have no other choice, it gives you clarity. So I'm only focused on the things that's going to help me now, right? How can I develop my cognition and my consciousness now to where I can apply the skills, this knowledge, this information, whether it's in a way that I poise myself, how I speak, a strategy that I give to the lawyer, which I end up doing. And he was this like fat, fumbling, Fred Flintstone looking lawyer. And I remember telling him to do something and he was unsure about it.
Mm.
And when I told him to do it, it worked and he seemed surprised. And then that's when I realized, like, no, you have to take this whole case in your hands. This is your future. For him, it's another case. He failed, he lose, he keep going in life. If I fail this, right, that alters my life and it stops me. And so that's when I started going back into my early beginnings and wisdom from a child, right? And applying the knowledge and the training that I got early years, right? Of being a soldier, being a general, right? Thinking like a young God. And what does that really mean in reality, though? Right? What does that mean to apply that knowledge in real time? And so I say, well, if I can't apply it to the circumstances that I'm in right now, then, is it true belief? Because I think that there are those who like follow Christ and those who act Christ-like,
Right.
right? And I think that when you find yourself in circumstances, yes, there's prayer and then there's work.
That's right.
I was really focusing on the work part because I felt the true relationship with God, right, is to act as a good steward of the power that He gives you, right? And so that's when I was able to utilize that knowledge. I beat that case, and I think from there I made a decision, right, to be a key in the world,
Yes.
right? And the 19 keys comes from a quote that I heard early on from Master Muhammad, who is the one who started the movement of the Nation of Islam and Black Muslims in the United States of America. And he said there's 17 million original people and there's 2 million Indians. And he said that represents the 19 million rusty locks. And he said there's 19 million well-oiled keys to unlocking those rusty lock minds. And
Mhm.
keys are interchangeable for enlightenment or knowledge and knowledge itself, so that if you enlighten the people, they can never be oppressed again. And so I really took on that moniker. Not that I am 19 keys, but I represent 19 keys, this energy of sovereignty.
Absolutely. That's great. Awesome, man. I love that. Did you have any questions, babe?
Well, I just wanted to say that you've been an inspiration to me in the way that you have your hands in so many different things. Like you're an entrepreneur, you're a motivational speaker, you're out here with the podcast, thought-provoking conversations, high-level conversations. You have products, you're an artist, you're all these things. And for me on my journey, I went through this huge healing journey. And then on the other side of it, I was like, well, I need to help other people heal. And when I started looking into creating a business or what that would look like, everyone kept telling me, oh, you have to niche down, you have to pick one thing. And I was like, in my healing journey, I used so many different modalities and I used just so many instruments to get here that I can't niche down. So when I see you doing all these things and doing them great, it's an inspiration. And one thing I took, like we've been watching, like you said, for a while, and I took your AI master class because I was having issues with advancing with the technology and AI in general because like I feel we are the technology. Like we are connected to infinite intelligence. And I had like a roadblock with that. So when I took the master class, it was really inspirational and it led me on this whole journey to where I am now, where I, with my business partners, created an app. And that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't opened my mind to different possibilities. So I just want to, you know, give you much honor and respect.
Right. She's downplaying herself too, man. I mean, man, we first of all, we've been through a lot. She's divorced, I'm divorced. We got married about 8 years ago. And man, we had to do a lot of self-reflecting, a lot of healing. When we got together, man, I said I would never get married again, but I divorced my ex-wife back in '04. And from '04 to 2015, 2016, when I met her, I was single, man, and I told God, I owned a barbershop for 30 years. And I've been extremely blessed with the barbershop. I'm a carpenter. I flip man homes. This is my eighth home. But I did so much restaurants for the family, everything. But it's it's not what you go through, it's how you handle and bounce back, man. We both been battle tested and through the ringer before we got together. When we got together, we put everything on the table, but we prayed for one another. And
Mm,
I asked God to send me the exact woman that I have right here, man. And I was about to give up on life and crash out and do crazy things, but I just tapped in. And when I speak, I like to thank myself for allowing the Spirit of God to manifest within me. And I grew up in a church and I realized that, I don't discredit nobody in the church. We all learn from everything. Everything is a lesson. There's never a regret or anything like that. It's always a lesson. You can't be mad at nobody but yourself if you keep allowing the same things to happen to you. So I just tapped into my spiritual self, man, and it started working for me. And I just started looking at life through my spiritual lens. We all have the spirit of God within us, whether you like it or not. It's up to you if you want to tap into it or not. So I asked God for my wife. Here she come, and we just start the spiritual journey together, man. She's always been into the financial world. She's been working for Wells Fargo for for 23 years. Right?
I'm like,
Well, she's
I
been
just,
working in the
I,
financial district for 23 years, and she decided that she can't do it no more because she wants to help people on a spiritual level. So her and her partner, they created this like a hotline for battered women and women to build their relationships with.
let me talk about.
Right. So, but what I want to say is she started, her and her partner have been working on this app for like about 8 months to a year now, man. And it's amazing. And she's giving a lot of credit to you, man, because at first with the AI, I was like, but then I saw you, how passionate you are about the AI, telling everybody we got to get on board. And man, they just released this app. Oh my God, man. But go ahead, babe. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Definitely want to know about the app for sure.
Oh man.
So it's got a few different modules, let's say. It's called Awakening app. It has where you can have like awakened conversations where it's more spiritual, more on the esoteric side. But we have general conversations that are not as, so it's preference related. When you onboard, we ask 10 questions to get a feel for, what where you are, what you want to talk about, and your beliefs. So it's not to be disrespectful to anything you believe. And then we have a coaching module, which has been really, really great with helping people navigate their emotions and their trauma. And it came about because I was coaching people with my business partner, and we were finding a lot of people didn't want to open up. They don't want to tell people what they've been through. They want to keep it locked away. But we are seeing people just gravitating towards their phone, saying things like, my chat isn't gonna lie to me, my chat's my friend. So I didn't want people to be closed off and lose that community bond and the necessary relationships. But I kind of feel like this is going to open people up to get them talking, to get the trauma out, and to get them able to then talk to a friend, not feel so shameful or whatever it is that they're feeling, whatever energy they're feeling towards what they've been through. Just get them used to talking about what happened. And then the app we've been having really great
Feedback.
feedback. Like it's telling people what what to look at. Like this is from your childhood. This isn't even what you're triggered about right now. What's happening and going on right now has nothing to do with what is really at the core
Mhm.
of your emotions. So we've been having really good feedback and very proud of the work that we've done. And then it has like journaling, and you can have like, memorialize your synchronicities and your miracles and different things like that. So people are constantly reminded of the positive things that are happening in their lives. So we get our mindset out of that negative loop that we are always stuck in and listening to. So yeah.
And tell them about the scientific facts about the cloning.
Oh, so the big thing, yeah, how could I forget that, is it clones your voice. So you can
Mhm.
clone your own voice, and you can get basically your feedback, your coaching, your positive affirmations, whatever you're getting in your own voice. Because
Mm.
most of us, like, we cringe at the sound of our voice, and we don't realize that's self-love. It's a part of ourselves that we're shunning. So when you get to hear these positive things and kind of unwind some of the traumas that are stuck in our subconscious, in our own voice, and we start loving ourselves, that it has profound impact.
And the woman that gave you feedback on their mom passing away.
We had Yeah, we had one of my partners onboarding someone, and she said, her mother has dementia and she's going to clone her mother's voice so her mother can continue to give her advice,
through AI.
um, you
Yeah.
know, when she can't do it in the physical anymore. And now that she has dementia isn't as sharp, but she can still get that mom's advice. So it's having a big impact so far. And we haven't really, it's not on the App Store yet. So we're like, you know,
It's like a soft launch,
right.
but they're going to speak at Columbia University in October about the app. And,
Yeah.
and one of the things the developer was saying that when he first started, he was talking to his mentors, and it was like it can't be done, and they was like, "Oh my God, this is revolutionary! This is the first time that this has ever happened." So it
Mhm.
took him a while to make it, but he was dedicated, man, and he came through, man, and we're very excited about it, brother.
It
Absolutely.
sounds beautiful, man. It sounds
Now,
real beautiful.
I wanted to ask you, did you have you seen anything like this, but you haven't been in touch with so many people across the globe?
Not the specifics, context and use case, right?
Yeah,
Just within the naming of awakened conversations and the specifics of, having these tailored conversations for people that are into consciousness or, on these healing journeys. I haven't seen, and if there is, there's not a brand that's out there that markets the space. You
right.
understand? So I feel like there definitely is an opening for that because as I was thinking about it, I'm just thinking about people who want to have these comfortable spaces, right? To be able to share their thoughts and be on these platforms to where these AI models are not controlling the parameters of thinking,
That's right.
right? And so sometimes the AI either it's too, I would say, agreeable, right? And there's no challenge in it. Or it gives you sources of truth that are curated by the programmers themselves. So
Mm.
the idea of I'm saying, hey, I'm a black Muslim, right? This is what I believe, and you're tailoring my experience for that, right? But then also I would want to make sure that my experience is also not keeping me in a silo,
Mhm.
right? Because again, you don't want people to um, have these cognitive biases and confirmation biases that think they're more right than they are.
Yeah,
And I think that that's important. So I would have to utilize the app, but as long as it's something that forces people to have critical thinking, to really process and synthesize information and go into more deep work and deep focus, and then come out of that with clarity,
yeah,
right? A companion for clarity, I think that that's key. And I love the idea. Even the voice clone of getting those affirmations back from yourself, I think is key.
yeah. And you're right. You hit it on the head because sometimes it could just string you along and keep asking you questions, trying to get you to speak more instead of giving you certain things that you can help. But it gives it what for me. I've been helping young men navigate through life for like the past 25 years. I just grew to have empathy for people, man, because I'm cutting young men. And the number one conversations is uh women. And nowadays it's not a lot of good women out here, man. And they're out there, and I encourage brothers that they're out there, but they gotta become a king so they could attract that queen. And
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for
it is
I would say that's one of those subjects to where no matter how you try to cut it and slice it, it's not easy out there
it's
because
not
there's
right.
validity on all sides,
Yeah,
right?
man.
That's what I
Absolutely.
like to say because for the man to be like it's not a, I would say the say good women, right, is
Right,
relative towards what you're looking for,
right.
because we all grew up in different eras and in different styles and different ways.
Yes, sir.
So our idea as a man, right? We think about what is the idea of man, then we think about what is the ideal partner for that man,
Yeah,
right? So a man now believes almost that even if I become this ideal man, it's not enough women that fit the ideal partnership for that man,
right.
right? And then the women are in a more free, enterprising, and liberating space. So, they want to challenge ideas, period,
That's
right?
right.
And ideas specifically that men hold them to. So they're purposely trying not to fit into your ideal woman because they believe that that's not their identity. And so they believe that there's no freedom in your ideas. So that's why we don't have harmony. And that's probably one of my biggest messages is that everybody's fighting for balance, and balance is tension between 2 points,
Yeah,
right? And everybody start talking about equality, and equality automatically creates tension, right? Because you are literally taking unequal parts and trying to force them to act the same, right? And then everything becomes in the name of this fairness. Well, I did this, then you should do this. That's balance, but that's not harmony,
right.
right? Because if you have a band and if everybody says we want balance and equal, then of course you can't really get a sound out of that because one person wants to be on the get the same amount of stage time as the next person, the band person, the violin person, the guitar person, the singer, and it's like that's not how a band works. These are different frequencies that operate in harmony with each other, but these are unequal parts coming together. So I believe that as long as our relationships are based on the value set of balance, right? We're always going to have toxicity and imbalance,
Absolutely.
fortunately. And I think that when we get back to indigenous practice of harmony, right, then we can start figuring out how do we flow with each other. We have different classes, different intellects, right? We have different, sometimes you want to keep values aligned, but you have different skill sets, you have different gifts, right? You have all of these things trying to work in harmony with each other, not in balance because
Right,
they're not equal.
right.
So again, in you being a barber, I think it's so insightful because as somebody who's want to put out coffee houses specifically for the purpose that coffee houses and barbershops share that they were both original spaces of intellect, right? Where men specifically would gather, and these were spaces to where we would have conversations and share information between a younger generation and an older generation, right? And a community within itself. So you would hear literally the barbershop talk, which would give you consensus of the community, right? And so you would know which candidates you should go for, who's bad in the neighborhood, who's good, right? That consensus don't exist in the same capacity anymore. And coffee houses was that in early history, whether it was in Black history or even white history, to where these were spaces of renaissance because it was literally people drinking cognition so they could think for longer periods of time. And that made people want to have more high level or awakened conversations.
Yeah,
And that democratized access to information. And it always changed the landscape anytime coffee entered a space.
yeah,
And one of the last spaces that intellectual diversity exists, right? Or that community can exist is in a barbershop.
right.
So our community, we turn to podcasts, but these podcasts are not impersonal, right? They don't have real connection because you're yelling at a screen. And you can be in your own bubble of confirmation bias, right? Picking up information, then going spewing that information without any experience and empathy behind it,
Yeah,
or agenda to make it better,
yeah,
just contributing to the toxicity of the conversation,
yeah,
right? And now you can monetize that, so it makes it even worse.
yeah,
This is where intentions are more important than information today. And
yeah.
I think that people have very poor intentions
And
because
that,
they're capitalized.
yes, sir. And I say that all the time. You got to have a good heart with good intentions, regardless on what you're doing. That's the foundation of any type of success and longevity. And we started a podcast because everywhere we go, people can feel our energy. And a lot of people want what we have. And they was like, oh my God, you guys look so beautiful. It was like, oh, you look like young. Like I'm 54 and she's 49. And people were like, why, how do you guys look like that? That's because we healed. We had to forgive
Yeah,
all the people that did the grimy things to us, which is your relatives, the closest people to you, you have to forgive. You have to give for yourself, not for them, so you don't carry on all that anger and that meanness inside of you that can make you look old, stress you out. And so, but we do have chemistry, and people want that. So we started a podcast not to tell people what to do, but they're asking us, so we're telling them what works for us, and this is what we're gonna give to you guys. And so we are extremely happy for that, man. We've been getting I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
You
go
want to
ahead.
do you
No,
want like this?
no,
Okay.
I was.
But yeah, man, so that's where we get the spiritual spiritual chemistry from, man, because that's how we got to where we're at. We tried everything else. We had to tap into our spiritual self, which I know for a fact, and you know for a fact is our ultimate self. And when you tap into that, now you're looking at life through a spiritual lens. We did it simultaneously. We pray together, we manifest together, and we just getting this stuff rolling, man, because we had a lot of things trying to stop this from happening, man. But we had to, it's hurdles and battles and everything, man. But this is a beautiful thing, man. God is good, man. And with brothers like yourself, man. I mean, we everybody waiting for when you bring a female on the scene, you always say, nah, I ain't ready. You laughing about it, but
No,
I know it's hard.
it's not even that. It's more so about, you have the social media thing, you have the external appearance, right? And the thing about social media is it becomes a partner in your relationship,
Right.
right? And now everybody gets to poke holes at it. Everybody gets to put it under a watchful eye, right? Why you doing this? Why you not doing this? Why you going over there? How come y'all haven't posted each other here? Why y'all not liking this? And then that adds undue scrutiny,
There you
right? And excess stress, especially as men and women are trying to reharmonize what that relationship looks like. And I believe having the world as the third partner in your relationship, right? I think it can be very dangerous, especially if you're not established.
okay.
Very right. And so I think that there is, because we've watched how many relationships come and go over the
Right,
years,
right, right,
right?
right,
And they were so beautiful for so many years that we have experienced them. But
right.
the more we invest in other people's relationships, right, it also has a negative effect when they divorce. It has a negative effect on us when we find out about all of their information because we apostatize people to be saints,
Yeah,
right? And the higher we hold somebody up in regard, the less human they become.
that's
So when
right.
they make human mistakes, right, or on the journey of just being a human and learning, both of you all have been, divorced before,
Right,
right? So if people were watching the relationship before, then go through that divorce, y'all would have took them through an emotional roller coaster,
right.
right?
Yeah,
But we get to see you on a journey that, is now able to survive the scrutiny of social pressure,
yeah.
right? Because you are in a completely different place. And so I think there's a lot of people probably showing that first relationship. And not showing this one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Sometimes they never get to this one because of the trauma of the first one. So this is the first time ever in history where the world is being scrutinized in their relationships in a different capacity, and it changes why you get in a relationship as well.
right,
Because now you're picking a partner also based on the publicity, the PR. Who is what the community go think about the person I'm with. You
right.
understand me? So now you're thinking about different looks, you're thinking about intelligence, you're thinking about things that you normally wouldn't have had to if everything was private,
Okay. Yeah,
right? And so I think that we're people that probably can't truly afford public relationships yet
that's right.
because we are not first generation,
Yeah,
right? Like, or second generation rather. We're not second generation, right? Marriages,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Generation, intergenerational families connected. We're
yeah,
first generation. And so that first generation dealing with the scrutiny of social media at the same time, while everybody's going through an identity crisis
yeah.
and the world is shifting consistently,
No
I think
good.
that you can put undue pressure on yourself and you'll be wondering why it didn't work out. And
Yeah.
it had to do with you being a good person, as being a bad person. You're existing in a time where there is no blueprint.
Yes, sir. And that's what a lot of celebrities say nowadays. They like to keep their stuff private, man. That's the best way to do it. So that's good. God bless you, brother. God bless you. That was awesome. Oh, what do you want to ask? We only got a few.
All that to tell people stay out my business. No.
Right. Exactly, man. Absolutely, man. But that was awesome. But I wanted to have that on this podcast so people can understand that. You know what I mean?
I
That's
think
why.
it's necessary. Like, all right, so I give you my parents, they are divorced, right? I grew up in a household where early on we had our parents. I seen them divorce. I seen them go through the bad. I seen brothers and sisters have baby mama dramas, you know what I mean, go through divorces. And so in my real life, I have a lot of bad examples,
Yeah.
right? And so I think from there you want to go on your own learning experience, right? Because I think the again, the public will force you to pick the person that you want to be seen with. You understand me? But what about the person that you want to be in your private space and just be yourself with?
Right.
Right? Which is completely different. This person, the woman might be darker skinned. So, oh, you got your dark skinned woman. You understand me? And you like, okay, I picked this person. I know the public will love this, right? I get this perception, but maybe she's not the best for your soul and your peace.
Right.
Understand me? And so this is why I think you can get caught up in these things to where we have almost a social media arranged marriages and relationships. And so I do believe that only people at this point in time that are in, I would say, successful relationships and partnerships over long periods of time should be the one giving us sufficient information and wisdom, right? From true experience, from pain, from regret, from hurt, from hardship, from trauma, right? From all of those different spaces so that we don't have to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also, just this last part, for the younger generation of men out there, it's going to be hard
Yeah.
because not only are you dealing with a changing demographic of women in society, right? The expectation on what it means to be a man, but also the choices that you have are more vast than any other generation in the history of time,
Yeah.
right? And too many choices, you end up making a bad decision because it's hard for you to gain clarity unless you're forced to.
Right.
And so there is not a lot of empathy on how much the world has changed, right? And there is no true manual for how to keep up with that change, right? People want things to go back to normal. People want some homeostasis, but there's another word, allostasis, of how do you maintain that peace and that stability during changing times, right? And this is what a lot of people don't have. And so I think that there has to be an evolution of what family looks like. Not that it goes away from what the traditional model is, but how do they work in harmony in a time where we have new technological, political advances, social advances, macroeconomic shifts, right? All of those are taken into factors, right? And so I think that at this point in time, people should people should date and marry with the intention to build,
Right.
right? If you're not building anything and you can't align that vision in the future to build something, then what is the point of having a partner?
Right. And that's what I tell young men all the time to stop trying to get into a serious relationship. You have no experience. You don't even know yourself. You're
Get
not
into a
too
serious
young.
vision.
Date a lot so you can, I'm sorry?
I say get into a serious vision before you get into a serious relationship.
Absolutely. So I tell them to date so you can, and let women know you're not taking them serious. You just want to date so you can get to know a lot about women, but most importantly, learn a lot about yourself. And then you can have experience on when you're ready to get settled down in your mid to late 30s or even 40s, you will have the experience to know what suits you, what personality suits you. So stop getting in these and then on top of that, even back in the days, we as young people, we're superficial, man. You know what I mean? But nowadays, the most beautiful people they've been through the most. They're the most toxic because they've been
Yeah,
subjected to a lot at a young age. So now when they're 19, 20, man, they done been through the ring already. So now you're gonna be getting the brunt of all of what she been through, what he been through. And you thinking, oh, she's 20 years old like me, but nah, she running circles around you, brother.
yeah.
That was,
She just finished. She just retired OnlyFans.
Exactly. Right.
well, that was what I was going to say. Like, we need to forget about relationships until we do the work on ourselves.
Right.
We've all had childhoods that we can probably write a book about. We've all had childhoods that we have to heal from. So we have to really focus on ourselves and not looking for someone else to make us feel whole or to make us happy, and to learn to love ourselves before we even think about getting into relationships, or in between relationships work on healing from the last relationship. People are just
Jumping in.
jumping
Yeah.
into relationships and they don't even know themselves. And I could say that about myself. I didn't even know what I liked, what I disliked. I had to go through this whole healing journey to figure and find myself, figure these things out and find myself. So we can't be in a healthy relationship without that healing.
You got to master yourself first. And speaking about books, I know you busy. You probably get a million books sent to you. I sent my book to you probably last year.
What's it called?
More than a barber, the game of life from the perspective of a spiritual barber.
I don't
And
think I've seen.
yeah, I'm sure you have, man. God bless, man. But we sent it, and I was like, because people, we was getting so much good feedback from it, and she also wrote a book as well. Tell them your book, baby.
it's not my not so cliche life,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have a couple others that I'm working on. And going back to the whole job thing, I heard you say like you fired your job. I recently fired my job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. And I
And
was trying to let her hold on. She's an assistant vice president of wealth management, but she couldn't take it. You know what I mean? So I got tired of seeing her coming home upset, crying. I was like, you know what? Do what you got to do, man. So as soon as we did that, stuff like this started happening for us. You know what I mean? With being on a podcast with you, brother. So that's how the universe works.
I wish you all the success in the world. First of all, I think everybody should be an author, right? I respect the fact that you all didn't give up on love and
Right.
family. You understand me? I know how hard it can be, especially going through a dark night of the soul and having to reclaim yourself. You
It's
understand?
harder being out here by yourself, to tell you the
I,
truth. So if you can find you not meaning to cut you off, brother, it's harder, especially for us. But it's harder for us to be out here by ourselves because we need each other, brother. You know what I mean? So we each other's crush, we balance one another out, and we got the harmony that you was talking about. But go ahead.
oh, well, I was just going to say just that. I mean, allowing somebody again, right, to enter your heart after, right, you've already went through an expectation of something lasting for life,
Right.
right? And a lot of people they become toxic after they get hurt,
Yeah.
right? Because they close off the best parts of themselves, right? And they don't want to give that to another person again. And so they oftentimes miss the opportunity from gaining from that experience that they just learned from. Because anytime you learn, and I look at learning as healing, and healing is learning. I think these two things mean the exact same thing. Whether our body is healing from a scar, right, or whether our mind is healing from some trauma, et cetera, et cetera. But most people get stuck in a cycle until they learn.
That's right.
Think that as long as people we use the word heal, but we need to put an action behind it. What is the lesson behind the scar tissue? What
Yeah.
is the lesson behind the trauma? Once you get that, you're now better off. And
Absolutely.
sometimes it's hard to appreciate somebody for teaching you some of your most dangerous and hurtful lessons.
Yeah.
But regardless, that person who hurt you was a teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never right. But that's why we named our podcast Our Spiritual Chemistry, because that's the only reason why we decided to do this again. Because I never felt a connection like this. You got your, like you said earlier, you got your human side and your spiritual side. And connected spiritual. I never felt nothing like that before. And I was like, you know what, man, we gonna rock out. And it's been 8 years now. It's a beautiful thing, man. So it's out there. It's out there for you if you're ready for it, for the people, you know what I mean?
Yes,
But
sir.
any last words? I know he got to probably get ready to go.
I'm good. Just gratitude. Thank you.
What
And,
city are you all in?
Down.
well, we're in Dallas now,
Yeah.
Okay.
but
What
we grew up in Connecticut,
okay.
and
I
she,
definitely look forward to seeing you all at the Dallas show with Yaki.
yes,
So that's
sir.
a powerful one.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Peace to the family.
Thank
Peace and love.
you.
Thank you, brother.